Hi, I'm Mr. Beat, and President's Day is coming up. One of my favorite holidays. We have a big sale every year. The inventory has to go. Our best and newest models are coming in.
80 and many years ago.
80 a deal with you.
Oh yeah, massive deal.
Who's your founding father?
Get a rear view camera.
I see you, baby.
Bluetooth. Talking about the red, white, and blue too.
You know, we're not talking about a car sale. We're talking about an actual holiday that celebrates the presidents of the United States of America. Not the band, although that's a really good band, one of my favorite bands. The actual presidents of the United States of America. And you have wanted this video for a very long time. Here are my
top 10 presidents of all time.
Number 10, James Garfield, one of our smartest presidents in history. I mean, by many accounts, he was very intelligent. He was a self-made man. Started from the bottom, now we're here, okay? Lost his father when he was young, worked to pay for an education, eventually became a businessman and a professor, and then of course later a politician, a representative, also a successful military leader for the Union in the Civil War. As president, he appointed many African Americans to posts in his administration, which was unheard of at the time. Now, he didn't last long in office as president. You may already know that he was assassinated shortly after getting into office, but he would have been amazing, and so what he would have been is why I rank him high. He made a name for himself fighting cronyism, fighting the political machines in Washington, D.C., and just fighting corruption in general. Number 9, James Madison. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, of course. Many of the best ideas of the Constitution that we take for granted came from him, and he pretty much wrote the Constitution, okay? The Bill of Rights, most importantly, came from James Madison. So just on that alone, that's why he's one of my favorites. Now, as president, he also was a great leader in terms of once that War of 1812 broke out, he did an amazing job leading the charge to defend against the British invading the homeland. Now, he was a bit foolish when he called for war against the British, but I digress. He was a key author of the Federalist Papers, and again, when he was my age, he was one of the leading voices at the Constitutional Convention. Number 8, John F. Kennedy. I have a lot of respect for his World War II service. I mean, he saved a man's life, for crying out loud. His leadership during the Cuban Missile Crisis was amazing. I mean, let's ignore the Bay of Pigs fiasco. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, he did well. He had learned from past mistakes. He had found a way to ease relations with the Soviet Union at the height of the Cold War. He created the Peace Corps, the Equal Pay Act, which I don't think gets enough attention. And even though it was controversial, he moved civil rights legislation forward. He just gave really good, inspiring speeches. I mean, I still get fired up watching his moon speech at Rice Stadium. We shall go to the moon. I mean, I'm fired up. Number 7, Harry Truman. I used to think much less of Harry Truman when I was younger. I mean, I judged him based on his decision to drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and I didn't agree with that decision when I was younger, and I still struggle with that decision. And then there were other things that not to like about Harry Truman. The Truman Doctrine, which really was all about us beginning to police the world and get up in everybody's business. Some of his racist language that he used. But then I learned more about Harry Truman, and the more I learned about him, the more I realized he was just a great common sense leader who really considered all sides to issues, and he just tried to do what was best for the majority. He didn't always get it right, but he certainly did whatever he could to make sure that every voice was heard. Plus, he played piano, and he's from the Kansas City area, so there's that. Number 6, Theodore Roosevelt. Growing up, Theodore Roosevelt was my favorite president. I mean, he was this larger-than-life figure that just seemed to be able to do anything, that was somebody who fought for the common man, and, you know, I kind of lived him up more than he actually was. I still respect Theodore Roosevelt tremendously. He went down the list just because of his foreign policy. The more I learned about his perception of the world, a bit too American-centered. He could have learned a lot more about other cultures, I think. But his boldness was undeniable. I mean, he was an active president. Before he was president, he even signed up to fight a war he was really passionate about. He wasn't just an advocate for the war, he actually fought in it, okay? He set new precedents for the role of president. He stopped strikes. His push for national parks and his conservation efforts were amazing. He bypassed political parties and institutions, went straight to the people, straight to the media. You know, he loved the press, and he was the first to have the press in the White House. Theodore Roosevelt was all about justice. He was a tough son of a gun. Number 5, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Again, I'm a little biased here. Eisenhower was raised in Kansas, my home state, but another World War II hero, a phenomenal leader that helped the Allies get victory in that war. No one can deny the importance of his leadership for an Allied victory. Operation Overlord, the capture of Germany, that was him, and he later was the supreme commander of NATO, for crying out loud. He's a big reason why the Korean War ended, okay? He had the foresight to see what was going on with that. Let's just end this right now. The interstate highway system and NASA. I'm a fan of both, and that was him. He appointed Earl Warren as Chief Justice for the Supreme Court. Earl freaking Warren. Related to this, he sent federal troops to Little Rock to enforce school integration after the Brown v. Board of Education decision. Eisenhower was a fairly moderate dude. I mean, he saw the importance of social programs, but also saw the importance of a limited government protecting liberty. So he was a great balance of both. Number 4, Thomas Jefferson. Definitely had some flaws, but I call him the father of civil liberties. I mean, he was a genius. I mean, the main author of the Declaration of Independence, the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, his passionate support for the Bill of Rights, and the fact that he popularized many of the ideas in the Bill of Rights. His views were always evolving. It's not like he had the same ideas his entire life. He's what we call a Renaissance man, right? He was constantly trying to better himself and learn new things. He can claim credit for the Louisiana Purchase, which was a bit controversial, but ultimately I think the right thing to do. He saw the good in common people. He promoted democratic ideals when most of the elite did not. So he saw the good in people. I've always liked TJ for that. Number 3, Calvin Coolidge. Probably the least egotistical of all the presidents, did not have an ego, actually probably weakened the power of the presidency. The least political of all the presidents. That's great. I love apolitical presidents. Extremely modest dude, okay? He's kind of gotten a bad rap though. My favorite quote of him, quote, "Perhaps one of the most important accomplishments of my administration has been minding my own business." While the president doesn't create jobs and isn't responsible for the entire economy, the economy did happen to do very well under his watch. More importantly, despite that, at the same time, he shrank the national budget, shrank the national debt, while simultaneously somehow figuring out a way to cut taxes. He was a fiscal conservative, but a social progressive, outspoken for women's rights and fighting corruption. Had a humble foreign policy and anti-crony capitalism. He used common sense and spoke honestly. He never sugarcoated anything. My number 2 often surprises a lot of people, but it is Grover Cleveland. And this may be a surprise even to people who've watched this channel for a long time. Grover Cleveland started out as a teacher. He was a classic liberal who believed in limited government, which explains the majority of his vetoes. He had more vetoes than any other president other than FDR. He had a humble foreign policy. He was anti-interventionist. I think you know what I value here with my political beliefs, but he was a big proponent of free trade. He was anti-crony capitalist probably more than any other president. He fought the government corporate monopoly of the railroads. Before he became president, he made a career out of fighting corruption and fighting the political machines of the day. And Grover was a man of integrity, a strong moral compass. He put aside his own selfish desires, always for the greater good. You know, what more could you ask for a public servant of our country?
And my favorite president of all time
is George Washington, which many of you already knew. George Washington, the first president, set all precedents, set the bar very high for all future presidents. Before he was president, though, I mean, he was a military hero. The French and Indian War, the Revolutionary War. More than anyone, he probably single-handedly is the person most responsible for the United States becoming a country, against great odds, against the most powerful military in the world at the time. George Washington was confident but humble. He never wanted to be president. You know, he was kind of forced into that position. I mean, that's always been inspiring to me, that the fact that he limited his own power, he unwillingly took that position. When everybody wanted him to be king, he said no. The humility of George Washington has always inspired me. I mean, he limited his own power, and the great example of that is limiting himself to 2 terms and set that precedent for future presidents until FDR. He was president of the Constitutional Convention when the Constitution was made. He was against political parties. He warned against them. He warned against foreign entanglements and permanent alliances. The Proclamation of Neutrality, I mean, that's what I'm all about. His leadership ending the Whiskey Rebellion. I mean, he was out there personally leading the troops on a horse, for crying out loud. And George Washington, just an amazing leader, respected by all, unified all Americans. I can't imagine another president having as much impact as George Washington. And that will do it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my top 10 presidents of all time. And next week, make sure you tune in, because I'm going to do the worst 10 presidents of all time. Who will be on that list? Tune in next week to find out. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for watching.
And happy President's Day!
Mr. Beat coming at you with much shorter hair now, and I want to give a shout out to my friend Dave, who I met at VidCon last year. He has a YouTube channel called Professor Dave Explains, and he is in the process of making biography videos about every president in American history. He just finished William Henry Harrison. I put the playlist below. You should go check it out. Who was your favorite president, and why? Let me know in the comments below.